Today on Tom's Tech Show, we are going over a Active Directory login script that I've created and use quite often. Connects stuff and gets information, and let's go. Hi there. So Tom's Tech Show today, we're covering a login script for Active Directory. I've been in charge of quite a few different networks over the years, and I've brought forward a lot of the different things in my login scripts that allow me to do a lot of different things. So let's look at this here. Here's just, I always keep at the top of my scripts like an edit, revision, and what information I've added and removed out of it as I move forward, so I know, okay, this is, if something's wrong, then I know kind of what section to check for errors. And I have this on error resume next, so that when that's on, so on error resume next allows the script to continue when it's in production, so that if there's an error, it doesn't stop and bomb out the rest of the script. It just will allow it to keep going. Okay, so there's a couple of class libraries. This is a Visual Basic script, so here there's a couple of class libraries that you need. Scripting dictionary, we need the network, we need to get Active Directory system information, we may be reading and writing files from the shell, and we can get different processes with the WShell environment process. Okay, so one thing I want to do is to get the user's information that's logging in, because we need to do different things. We need to create shortcuts on their desktop, we need to map specific network drives, and we need to know what group they're in, because then different groups will get different network drives. So that's where these start here, get all the user information. Now here, okay, so here we have this little piece that I put in. It gets the username and what time they've logged in at, and I actually input that and save that into Active Directory. So if I go to a user, I want to know when's the last time they logged in at, I can go to my Active Directory users and computers and look at the user, and it will show me when they logged in or when they logged out of the computer. There's a logout one in the logout script. Okay, so now I get the list of user groups that the user belongs to, so that I can start doing, different things. So like here, we create a map a directory for people in the F9 users group. This was a different program that we happen to use, like Ceridian is another program that we use for payroll, different things like that. So and down here, we actually, after we map the directory, we actually create a shortcut on the user's desktop. So we want to be able to control that, set up different items to push to a user's desktop. So if we deploy a new program, we can actually create a new shortcut on the desktop, whoever the user is that's logging in. And that's what this does here. It creates this link and saves that shortcut to their desktop. We have some other pieces here that allow me to check for different folders, and we needed to, there was an application that if the cached files were on the user's desktop, we needed to clear out those files, because if the program were updated, if the files were there, it wasn't matching, the update wasn't pushing out to the desktop. So whenever they did an update, all they had to do was log out, log back in, and it would delete all those files. Then when they launched the ERP application, then the new programs and stuff would download to their computer. Okay, so some more different drive mappings and things that are here. I'm also able to create and push remote desktop connections to people's desktops. So if you have an infrastructure and you want everybody to have this shortcut on their desktop that gets them into payroll or into a lab or something like that, we can be able to push that right to their desktop. And then down here on the bottom, we just map a couple more generic drive mappings, the public folder, and it actually maps their home drive based upon their account name. Okay, so that's one of the scripts that I use to log in. It uses Visual Basic and a lot of the objects of Visual Basic. This script is going to be up in my Bitbucket, so if you want to use this as a starter template and start moving and creating your own, feel free to do so. Okay, so that's my login script. There is also a logout script which has kind of the similar items, which will also be up in Bitbucket when I can get it posted there. That does kind of the backwards things, like when you post when the user logs in into their Active Directory. There's a one in the logout script that does posts when they logged out, so that we know whether the user is logged in, logged out, and what time that was. Okay, so this is just one of the scripts that I use. I use a lot of different ones, and that's what I'm making videos about. So I can post these and help somebody out there who's doing Active Directory or AWS or anything like that. So there are a lot of videos on that. If you like those, then follow my channel and I'll continue to be making these. And I also do videos on movies and photography, maybe TV shows, different things like that. Just did a video on Captain Marvel and Endgame, so that's a pretty interesting story that's coming up. So I kind of have fun doing these, so I hope you have fun watching them, and thanks for watching, and give a like and a subscribe and all of those fun YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next video.